Yeah! Hey guys, Parney here from Dash Car Productions, and this is my good friend Andre. He was with us in the last car review in the wilderness. Remember him? He just magically showed up in my trunk, and when I got home, he was in my trunk, so he's been living with us since. Alright, so let's make this video nice and quick. Today we are going to be talking about the new Subaru WRX 2022. Just got announced yesterday. And apparently, a lot of people are hating on this car. And Andre is not a die-hard Subaru fan. He's just a normal car enthusiast. He's not loyal to any brands. He's never seen the car. So I'm going to show him the pictures for the first time right here. And I want your first impressions. So first we talk about the front, the side, the back, and then we'll talk about the engine. And that's it for this video. So be quick.
It looks plasticky.
Yeah, everyone is saying that.
It looks plasticky. Like the whole bottom half is just one big black piece of plastic. I don't understand why they did that.
To me, that reminds me of like an SUV design, a crossover design. You look at SUVs, you look at trucks, you look at the Outback that we reviewed, the Crosstrek that I saw.
Yeah.
They all have this plastic cladding all around the car.
Yeah, and I get that car companies, they try and make their brand look kind of consistent throughout their vehicles, but
that's a valid point too. They are trying to be consistent, but when you look at a sports car,
the interior is the same as the Outback we tried the other day.
Yeah, interior is the same, and you make a good point. Like a lot of car companies do have a similar. They want to have a consistent design language. But the problem with this car, there's so much plastic like cladding around it.
Yeah,
that it doesn't. Yeah, so it doesn't even look sporty. Because now you see like the cladding, above the tires. It looks like the wheel gap is a lot bigger than it is. Yeah. And for a sports car to have big wheel gap.
Yeah, like here's the problem I have sometimes is like this is supposed to be a sports car.
Yes.
Not an Outback.
No.
But it kind of looks like the Outback.
Right.
It's got the interior of an Outback. It's got the plastic cladding like an Outback. Like it doesn't make sense, Subaru. I'm sorry to say, like this doesn't make sense to me.
Does it look nice for a car? Just a normal sedan car.
Like a sedan car, yeah. Like this looks like a sedan.
Right?
Like a normal everyday, in the city out and about sedan car. But this does not tell me like Subaru sports car. Yeah,
so when you think of a Subaru sport car, this does not look like a Subaru sports car.
No.
It doesn't.
No.
When you think, like we were just talking earlier, one of the cars that you really liked was like the 2002 WRX.
Yeah, like the 2002
like the blob eye with the circular eyes. Yeah, that's a very unique look.
Yeah, and like even earlier than that, like the 2000 Impreza. No, sorry.
Or like I think you're talking about like the 2005, 2000 or 2006, 2007.
Yeah, like when Subaru had like the bug-eyed version.
Yeah, then they had the bug-eye, then they had the blob eye, and then did the hawk eye.
So I preferred like when they had the bug-eye, that was sort of unique in its time. Yeah, it was. And it almost kind of reminds you of a Porsche.
It does. Yeah, I know what you mean because Porsche has that.
Porsche has bug-eye, but it's different. And it's like if you're trying to bring something to the market, you gotta be different today, because there are so many different cars out there that you need to stand out from the crowd. And like, if this is supposed to be your flagship sports car, like if I look at that compared to something else you're offering in your lineup, it looks the same, and it doesn't make sense. Like think about the even the Toyota Supra.
Yeah.
Does Toyota have any other car that looks like that?
Yeah, it's so distinctive.
Unique, right? It's so unique. It's unique. And there's a price tag for it.
Yeah.
And it's not technically a Toyota, it's technically a BMW chassis vehicle, but it's unique. And that's the point. Sports cars are meant to be unique. Look at Chevrolet and their Corvette, right? It's unique.
The new C8, unique.
Even the Camaro, I don't even know if they still build the Camaro.
Yes, they do.
It's unique. It's different. It doesn't look like a Corvette, and it doesn't look like anything else they offer, but it's a Camaro. Right?
And now when you look at this car, so this is the Hawkeye, the 2007. I think it looks, or 2006, 2007. This is what people love this car. Like, it looks unique.
It's unique, right? And that's the thing. Yeah, for me, like if you're a car company and you're building a sports car, it cannot look like anything else you're offering in your lineup. I'm just gonna be brutally honest and blunt with it. I don't know why they went.
So let's go back to these pictures, and now it looks like just another sedan. It looks like every other vehicle that they have on the lot.
Yeah, and then what's the price tag for this thing?
I don't know. They haven't released it yet, but the last year's base WRX starting at I think it was 30,000 Canadian. So the price it's a very good price.
It's not bad, but then what's the cost of the BRZ?
I believe it's around 32,000.
Yeah, so
I mean the BRZ now that's
it's a different car.
It's a different car. You can't compare them. Yeah, you can't compare them.
Like the BRZ, you could vouch for that price, right? Whereas this is like it's just a sedan.
Yeah, you make a point. Like the BRZ is unique.
Right?
It
like I'd rather buy a BMW over that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's a big price difference.
There's a big price.
But you wouldn't want this.
But I wouldn't want that.
Like, you wouldn't want that.
This doesn't scream to me sports car.
And you look at the back, it looks like a Honda Civic on top.
Yeah, it does.
Like legit.
The little triangular lights
That's
in the back.
Exactly, and like the black accent there is exactly like Honda's. It's the same.
Yeah,
so they weren't unique there. But then they have like in their bumper this crazy plastically designed that doesn't say sport car at all.
Yes.
And then you look at the bumper, it actually it protrudes out. It's like a step. It's like a box that sticks out.
Oh, is it?
If you look at it, right? Look at that.
Oh, what?
It's like an actual step.
It actually protrudes out.
Yeah.
Who approved this design?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan. I mean,
that is so bad.
You can see it's similar. Like the side is similar, the front is similar to the last gen.
Yeah, like
I mean,
I can get where they're coming from.
Yeah,
in that
there are design elements that make sense. But they slap like if you get rid of all that plastic cladding, I think it'll be a decent looking car. But adding that plastic stuff,
no,
I don't know. I can't. I'd rather have a cross track than this.
I'm sorry, Subaru, but I think you really missed the mark on this one.
I know. So interior wise, it's pretty similar.
Yeah, I'm looking.
If you remember seeing my WRX, it's pretty similar, but I think overall Subaru goes for a very simplistic look. And I'm looking at the interior, you have the big, huge screen. I actually don't mind the screen. Yeah, it looks like everything else. But when we were playing with Outback, it was super high resolution. It was very fast. Everything it's very cool. It's very modernized, I think. The interior of this vehicle.
Yeah, that looks really Honda Civic in the back, man. That doesn't do it for me. That looks like a Honda Civic.
You hate the back. I'm talking about the interior. You're talking about the back. You hate the back.
I'm just focusing on the
so bad.
Here. I can't stop. But yeah, the interior though. Okay, let's go back to the interior here. Oh, Ricardo seats.
It has Ricardo seats. Look nice. I mean, I think the interior actually looks pretty decent. But like
when it's an Outback.
I know. You're right though. When you look at the Outback that we saw over in the cross-check trucks, it's the same design. Now, like I said, a lot of cars do have a very similar design. But like just the design, it just looks like an SUV design. It doesn't look sporty enough.
Yeah, like for me, a sports car in today's day and age costs at least $35,000 to $40,000. Let's say, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Could they not have put in or done something else to make it more unique and come in around that price tag? Like, why did they go with this direction? Is my question.
Unfortunately, I can't talk to them.
I know. I wish I could ask Subaru myself. I know, right? But why? I don't know.
I would imagine Subaru knows what they're doing, and the car enthusiast people is a very niche market. Actually,
yeah, that's true.
Like, there's just not many proper dedicated sport cars anymore. They're all dying away. But they're going for a mass market, in my opinion. They're going for everyone.
Here's the thing, though. The WRX is a flagship car. It's not a mass market car.
It is. Yeah. I mean, well, the STI is the next level, but it's going to be pretty much a very similar design with a wing slapped on it and bigger rims.
Here's another thing too. Like the WRX is supposed to be like a rally king.
Yeah.
Like a rally car king.
Yeah.
In its own way, right? So does this even look like a rally car?
No.
Like that's
I
another
mean,
thing.
yeah.
too,
I
like,
mean, I guess a rally car is.
I can.
A rally car has a lot more elements to it, right? But like, I get what you're saying. Like, does this look like a rally car just from the look at it? No. Do the older ones look like a rally car from the look of it? Yeah, they do. Now, I will say this before we move on. I think we agree Subaru missed the mark on the looks.
Yeah.
But
okay,
think about this. Think about this. You know how we tested the Outback last time, but it was a wilderness trim?
Yeah, yeah.
So if they made a WRX, obviously this one here, but they call this the wilderness trim. Like this is a dedicated off-road.
Okay, yeah.
So like now it has the cladding and now it has all the plastic bumpers around it. That kind of makes a little more sense.
Yeah,
but
that
maybe
does
this
make
trim,
more sense.
add another inch. Make it a little more dedicated how the Outback was. I think people wouldn't hate that as much. And then the non-wilderness trim would have most of it painted.
Yeah, so you could have
that
like
would fix it.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, so you could have like a sport version, and then you could have like an Outback version. So you could
or the wilderness version, yeah.
Because
there are some people that have an STI that lift it 2-3 inches.
Yeah.
And put like
really?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah. So like,
interesting.
It's a very niche market, but if they made that car for that specific buyer, I think that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, the plastic cladding would make sense if that was
right
the direction they took. Yeah,
but obviously they're all the base model. All the models are gonna have this design.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah, in that aspect, then the design is not a bad design.
Right?
Yeah. But did they market it as that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so because a lot of people are really hating design. And I think most of it has to do with the back bumper that was protruding all plastic and the cladding around it. So
yeah, and I can agree with them. Yeah.
Do you want to finish final thoughts on the styling? I don't like it. It's a pass for me. I may grow on it, but it's a pass for me for now.
Yeah, just to go like a little bit back to what we were talking about earlier, but it would have actually been nice to see Subaru maybe take some cues from the past. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like Toyota's done it. They've gone back to the Supra. They have. Right? Nissan's done it. Ford's gone in this weird direction that I don't technically agree with. But they did go back at one point in 2005 when they built the new Mustang. Yeah. Right? They went back.
They kind of went backwards, took design elements of that.
And so it's nice to see that. And I think actually that would be it would have been nice to see Subaru maybe do the same thing.
Because people love those older ones. Why not bring elements to that?
I think there's a new Integra coming out soon too.
It's only a picture. We'll see about that. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah,
so let's move on to the performance. Now, performance, we don't have the car obviously, but there's two sides to it. So they added 3 horsepower. So so from a marketing standpoint, hey, we got 3 horsepower. But 3 horsepower is better than 0. It's better than 0 than horsepower.
That's like, oh yeah, we played with the ECU.
But it's not just it's not. But so the previous generation, the WRX that I had a 2.0 liter engine. Okay. They're bumping this up to a 2.4 engine turbo, right? Okay. The previous generation is 2.0 turbo. Okay. So they have much more higher displacement.
So they did change something.
They changed the engine. Okay. But the output is just 3 horsepower more. The torque, I think, is 253 or 258. It's the same or 1 higher. So when it comes to actual specs, they didn't really do much. But they put a bigger engine in. But from the face of it, when you see just 3 horsepower more, you're kind of like, forget that. Because people have been hounding, they want more power. And people don't get it. So just from a marketing standpoint, we're like, screw this. I'm going to go somewhere else. Get a GTI or get a Golf or something in a different market. Yeah. I think it's going to push people away. Like, that's it. A Camry has more horsepower. Has like over 300 the top trim.
Really?
Yeah. So people are like, come on. If you're going to say this is a sports car, but a family sedan that's a commuter.
Yeah. The only thing that screams out to me is 2.5 liter.
Or 2.4.
2.4 liter. 4-cylinder engine. There is room for improvement. Like you could tear out, just because I have a mechanics background, but you could tear out that turbo and just throw
people are gonna what the people are gonna do are they're gonna so Subarus, as you know, are a lot of people tune them.
Yeah.
So the potential to get a lot more power out of 2.4 is there.
Yeah.
The 2.0 engine actually a pretty darn good engine when it comes to reliability. So now you're making bigger displacement. You're gonna get a lot more power out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking stock for stock.
Yeah, stock for stock.
3 horsepower.
Those are not.
That's
good
not
numbers.
something you're screaming to get.
And
the Nissan 400 horsepower. Okay.
Yeah,
let's talk.
We gotta sit down and talk about that Nissan one of these days.
So I will say one last thing about the engine. Even though it's just 3 horsepower or more, and a lot of people are hating on it, rightfully so. Yeah. This is nothing. But it's how it's producing the power. Like I've told you in the WRX that I had, I hated the power band. You get a big, meaty, power right from like 2,000 to 4,000 RPM. That is, the power comes on, you get a little pushback in the seats. Okay, cool. But once it goes past 4,000 RPM, it dies. A Honda Civic will accelerate faster because all the power is gone. The way they designed the engine, the tuning of it, the power is completely lost.
Was that for emissions?
Emissions, I think, was a big key.
That's why they went the higher displacement this time.
Yeah, exactly. So the higher displacement, they're saying, and they said it's gonna fix that torque dip.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping is that instead of going up, then go down, then go back up as it tapers off, I'm hoping that the 2.4, like the bigger displacement, is gonna skyrocket up and hold that line and slowly taper off. If they could do that, that's gonna really, really, really improve the driving dynamics of the car. Because when you're driving the highway in a FA or the 2.0 engine, and you're like going 90 kilometers and you want to pass someone, there's no power at all. It's done.
Really?
There's zero. It's so embarrassing. It doesn't feel sporty at all. But with this engine, even though it's the same horsepower, but everything under the curve is increased, there's potential to be a much faster car because your torque is now more balanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And I could see why they went with that route. Yeah, it makes sense. But now you're improving something that you should have already had in the past, and now everyone's past.
Yeah, you're kind of fixing your mistakes. You're not really going forward.
Yeah.
So I think this car, when it comes from a performance standpoint, I think they're going to be fixing the problems they had on the previous generation, which is not an issue. But like, if they're going to fix it, go a couple steps further. Add at least 15 horsepower. Come on.
Yeah.
15 horsepower. People will be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
We'll see what the STI does, because a rumor had it was supposed to be 400 horsepower. Because my STI has 310, so the thing is going up to 400 horsepower with the new engine. But seeing this WRX, I really don't think it's gonna have 150 horsepower more than the WRX, because the WRX was always a lower model. They're not gonna do that.
Let's say it does have 400 horsepower. Does that look like a car that should have 400 horsepower?
If you slap a wing on it.
Spoiler adds 5 horsepower. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they could have just done that.
So the other thing that I question, this is the last point I want to make, is that they're adding a new trim. It's the GT trim, and the GT trim has some nice features. So that comes with the Recaro seats, I believe. It has the 11 speaker Harman Kardon sound system. Okay. It has adaptive suspensions, so you can change the suspension to like comfort, sport plus. The steering feel can be changed. You can change the throttle response. So it has all these cool. Okay, cool. One major problem: it only comes in CVT. The best trim, the trim that probably like people want, the most sporty, and the adjustability, the customization. Okay, now Subaru's catching up. Here's a CVT.
No.
And I believe like over 75% of buyers for WRX and STI are buying the manual transmission. I think that's like, it just seems like Subaru's missing a lot of things. Like they're not listening to the car enthusiasts. They're listening to the mass market and how to sell this car the most. So would you walk in a dealership and buy this car?
No.
Would I do it? No. No. I'd rather have my current generation. Or happy I have my current generation. Yeah, I'm happy. I think the older generation looks a lot nicer. But
yeah, I would agree.
Having said that, hopefully we'll have a chance to review the car. Maybe it'll change our opinion. Maybe just the driving dynamics of this car will be okay. It's a really good car to drive. We can overlook. It is super sporty,
Yeah.
Like the power, it is much more usable, right? So So we'll hold our final thoughts until we review the car, but from a standpoint of looks and just our perception and what we think about the engine at this point, no, but it can always change.
Yeah, that's true. Things can always change,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.